Amazon ElastiCache for Redis. I'm Handy, and Amazon AWS has a service called ElastiCache that allows you to create and run Memcache and Redis cluster easily and almost fully managed. So in this video, I'll show you how to create a Redis cluster. So this is the page for Redis cluster, and let's go to the AWS management console, and you can find ElastiCache here. A side note, ElastiCache for Redis in AWS is only accessible from inside a VPC, so you will not be able to access it from the internet. Although you can use a NAT server or a NAT instance to bridge between the outside world and the ElastiCache cluster. So let's create a cluster here. So now you have to choose between Redis and Memcache. I will choose Redis here. And if you choose to enable cluster mode, that means you will be able to have one or more shards. But if you choose to disable cluster mode, then you will only have one shard. But one shard can have several replicas. So I will try to make the name, learn Redis, and Redis cluster for learning. You can choose the version. The port is default, and you can customize the parameters for Redis here. And you can choose the node type. I will choose the smallest node type. This is a T2 micro. This is about $12 per month, the pricing for the North Virginia region. And I will only have one replica here. And you can have multi-AZ. I will disable this. This is if you want high availability. You can have multi-AZ with auto failover, and you can have multiple subnet groups. And if you want to prefer an availability zone, for example, I prefer the availability zone for US East 1A, you can put it here. And then the security group. Actually, we should do this before creating the cluster, but I forgot it. So okay, even if I create a security group now, there is no refresh button here, so it will not show up. So it's recommended to create a dedicated security group for this. And you can also enable encryption at rest or in transit. You can also import data from an existing S3 file. And if you enable automatic backup, then AWS ElastiCache Redis will create another replica node to store the backups. I will disable the backup now. And there is also maintenance. This is usually very infrequently, like once every few months. I will just say it's no preference. And you can also, if you want to get notified during maintenance, you can choose your topic, SNS topic here. Okay, so we can create. This will take some time, maybe about let's see, just the cluster name is similar as this one above. So it's creating. So while it is creating, I will create a security group. I go to EC2. So now I can create a security group for ElastiCache. Okay, I'll create a security group here. Create a new security group. Call it to learn Redis. And for inbound, we need to use the port that is defined before. Where's the port? Okay, forgot what's the port number for Redis. Okay, it's 6379. And this time I want to allow from anywhere. For Redis, it's not Redis will not have a public IP address. So even if we specify to inbound from anywhere, actually it's only anywhere within the VPC, not from the internet. Okay, let's see, it's still creating. Okay, so this will take some time, but after this is done, then we will be able to access our Redis instance. Okay, so while waiting, let's try to prepare how will we access this Redis. So I want to create a new instance just so I have something to connect to. So I will use Amazon Linux 2. I will use just the default, and I need to have, I'll choose 1A just so I have something to. Okay, it's already enabled. Storage doesn't matter, just name. So learn Redis client. Okay, this should be not a big deal. I just need to be able to SSH into this. Okay. I have nice. I think I will create a new security group just for SSH. Okay, then I can launch this. Okay, so now I'm launching this instance that I will use to connect to the Redis cluster. Okay, the Redis cluster is still creating. I think I will be able to connect here faster than I can wait for the Redis cluster to go up. Okay, it's running, so let's try. Okay, now we'll connect here. Okay, so how do we test a Redis instance? So I will need to know how to connect to Redis. Actually, this should be the same as CentOS, right? Redis 3. Okay. My first experience with Redis client is using Moodle, so this is my first time trying to connect to Redis using CLI. So I will try if this works. Okay, so okay, I will install this first. It says to add the Apple repository, but I'm not sure if this repository is compatible with Amazon Linux, so I will just try to install Redis without adding that repository. Okay. Okay. Turns out I can use this one. So Amazon Linux Trust, install Redis 4.0. Yes. Okay, now hopefully I have the CLI. Okay, seems that I have the CLI working. Okay, I have the Redis CLI. But now I will need to connect my CLI to the Learn Redis endpoint here. Okay. So how do I connect my CLI to that Redis? Okay. Let me see. I think here. There should be a way to specify that's the hostname and port. Okay, hostname this one. Then we just specify the port here. And okay, there's one thing I forgot is that the security group that I've created before, this one, I need to add this to the cluster because currently the security group is still the default one, so I will have to modify this. And change the security group, and I will add the Learn Redis. Which one? This one. Okay, and modify. So this will take only a short while. Okay, so as you can see before, this connection is not working, so I want to wait until it's available. Okay, so I retry again, and this time this should be able to connect. Okay, so after that I will have cheat sheet. Okay, so basically there are several commands that we know. Okay, so let's see that we can set value like set key. Okay, what's the best way? Okay, I think this is better. Oops. Okay, set the key is test hello. Value is nice. Okay, and then I can get that key. Okay, and then I can append to the test hello. You are cool, and I can get that. Okay, so there are other commands that we can use, but this is just to illustrate that I have a Redis cluster working. I can go out, and just to show you that this is real, I will disconnect and then I will connect back to my EC2 instance. Okay. Okay, this is taking some time, and then we'll go back to connecting to the Redis instance here. I don't have to specify the port. Okay, I put -h here, and then I can get that key again. Okay, so it's still there. Can also try to list all the keys in there, just so, because there are several. Whoa. Okay. Okay, so this sums up our introduction to creating a Redis cluster. And in this case, the cluster has no authentication. So basically the security is using the security group. As long as you set the security group correctly, only the instances that you allow in the security group can connect to this Redis cluster. And as you can see, there are two nodes here. So if you want to add or remove the node, all you have to do is go to that cluster. And for example, I don't want a replica, I just want a primary. So all I can do is just to delete that node. I can create a backup or not. And if I delete this, and this will be gone. But even with one cluster, I can still connect and get the data that I want. So if you are tight on cost and just want to experiment, you can have a Redis cluster with only one node, the primary node, without any replica. Okay, thank you very much, and see you in the